all know the story of the emperor's new clothes and the little boy who cries out, "He's not wearing anything." And slowly other people begin to realize, and they all say, "He's not wearing anything." But by then it's too late, and the emperor knows he's committed, and so he continues on with his procession, and the people walking behind him, and they're carrying nothing, and he's wearing nothing. And that story of the emperor's new clothes was written by Hans Christian Andersen, and in a sense it tells us something about the prevailing narrative today in our world. It's like the emperor's new clothes. It's a fantasy, a figment of our imagination. The culture that we live in is really effective at making disciples. The average child watches 16,000 TV ads every year, and all of us spend way too much time watching TV. We spend 4 hours every day, 9 years of our whole lives watching TV. Our culture has taught us, don't create, just consume. Suspend your critical faculties, just veg out in front of the TV, just surf the web. It says don't commit, just cohabit. Try before you buy. Why bother saving when you can buy now and pay later? Don't bother working, just go and play the lottery or get yourself onto a reality TV show. And so we're immersed in this culture, and we sometimes fail to realize or understand just how powerful it can be. It tells a story, a really powerful one, and nobody wants to be the fool, to cry out, "It's got no clothes on." Nobody wants to expose this prevailing narrative. But it doesn't even tell a single story. The university is supposed to have one story, and 50% of our kids are going to university and they're not getting that. They're getting two conflicting stories. Modernism, following on from the Enlightenment, says that truth can be discovered by reason, that if you can touch it, feel it, weigh it, sense it, then it must be true. And so students are trained in universal values that apply everywhere, at all times. The importance of rationality and progress. And then along came postmodernism and rejected the arrogance of modernity. And with it, any notion of objective or absolute truth. All our values are cultural specific, but they're personal to you in your time and place. There are no universal values or universal truths. And so diversity and tolerance are the key things. And this prevailing narrative, or really these prevailing narratives, raise more questions than the answer. Where do we come from? What is the purpose of life? Where are we going to? What is truth? And so countering this and cutting across it is the God story. The true story of the world, which starts with a creator in whose image we are made. And so we have purpose, we have identity as relational beings. And we have a direction or place that we're going to. God is going to make his dwelling place with us. And at that point of intersection, we find Jesus, the hope of the world. Paul puts it like this in Romans 12. So here's what I want you to do. God helping you. Take your ordinary, everyday, eating, sleeping, going around, going to work, life, and place it before God as an offering. Embrace what God does for you, because that's the best thing you can do for him. Don't become so well adjusted to our culture that you fit into it without even thinking. Instead, fix your attention on God. You'll be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what he wants from you and quickly respond to that. Unlike the culture around you always trying to drag you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you, develops well-formed maturity in you, Paul tells us. And so we need public leaders to inhabit the public square that's behind me. Our culture is in the business of making disciples, but we have been commissioned by God to make disciples. And those processes are fundamentally at odds with each other. We're making disciples who are creators, not consumers, who are image bearers, not individuals. A culture that is based on entrustment, not entitlement. And so we need public leaders who are kingdom carriers, who take their everyday, ordinary lives and place them before God as an offering. Public leaders who confront, who call out the lies from our culture. Public leaders who subvert, who offer a different story that cut across that prevailing narrative. What's your last God story? And finally, public leaders who recreate by inhabiting and living out a new story of hope Public leaders who inhabit the public square behind me, who confront, who subvert, and who recreate.